Hi guys, in today's video I want to give you an overview of my Inferno Bar. I've demonstrated a few exercises in the past videos over the past couple of weeks, and now I want to show you just a complete overview of what you can actually do with this bar. So for those of you who've already purchased the Inferno Bar, you can use this video as a guide to show you the proper technique so you can use the bar more effectively. If you are interested in purchasing my Inferno Bar, you can email me. You can find my email at the link below, and then that way I can give you the pricing information. So here you go guys, here are the exercises that you can do with my Inferno Bar. So the first exercise we can do is a lat pull down. Now, when you do this exercise, you're not going to be able to do it on a regular lat pull down machine that has a seat because the cable is going to be too short. So you're not going to be able to get the full extension of the arms if you're going to be on like a conventional sitting down lat pull down machine. So you want to have something that like a high pulley, and you can either kneel on the ground, or you can sit, or you can use a bench. I like to use a flat bench that declines, so that I can sit. I can decline the bench, and then I can sit at the front, so that's just a little more comfortable. But otherwise, you can do this kneeling, or just sitting down, or if you have a low bench, just sit on it. What you're going to do, you're going to sit down. Now you want the thumbs to be on the same side as the fingers. So the way I designed this bar is that it's angled up so that you get a better scapular abduction, but also you can keep your thumbs kind of in this little notch. So it keeps your thumbs on the same side of the bar so you don't use your forearms to pull the bar down. And so you're going to get into position. So what you're going to do, you're going to pull the bar down. As you're pulling down, you're going to go back with the elbows, come down behind your neck, and then get a full contraction here, and then bring your elbows forward, scooping your lats, and then coming back up. And then on the last few, you can just stay in a forward position, and then just go up and down, contracting as tight as possible. And then when you've done a few of those, I want you to hold the contraction down here and then go back and forth with your elbows going back and forth like you're going through the bar with your head. And then come back up. The key points here is when you're pulling down, elbows are back. Keep the elbows back into the full peak contraction, and then scoop the elbows forward, and then come back up, then come back down. Then you're going to scoop the elbows, and then come back up. And then on the last four or so, you're going to lean forward, and then just come down, bring the bar directly over your head, and then contract as hard as you can to the back. And then, after you've done four of those, and your back is tired, I want you to hold the contraction, keep the bar down into the low position, about halfway down, and then you're just going to go back and forth with your arms, bringing your head through the bar, going back and forth. So it's really going to hit a lot of the rotator cuff, and it's going to get the upper back. So it's a great exercise. You're not going to be able to do that with a regular straight bar because you just hit your head. So it allows you to go back and forth, bringing your head forward, and it really hits the back in a totally different way. And so that's the lat pull down. So now I'd like to show you the curl using the Inferno Bar. Now the way the handles are, it's a perfect position to keep the hands in a supine position. Then you want to keep your elbows close to your body, so that way it eliminates bringing the elbows forward as you come up with the weight. So like when you're doing a regular standard straight bar, there's a tendency to kind of throw the elbows forward, and that's going to activate a little bit more of the anterior deltoid. So we want to keep it on the biceps at all times. And this really isolates the bicep. And also, as you're coming up with the hand, you want to get that supinated position so that it really gets more of that peak contraction on the bicep. This is something that Larry Scott, Vince, and Frank Zane would always teach is when you come up, that you always want to turn the pinky up higher than the thumb so you can really get the supination, and it really isolates the bicep. And so this bar allows you to stay in that supinated position the entire time, and it's really, and so what you do is you keep the elbows close to your body, knees are slightly bent, and then all you do is just curl up, and you go into peak contraction, and then you come back down. You exhale, come down. And so we add weight. What you do is just let it slide down the bar here. And it's better to use like smaller weights. You know, you don't have to put the 45-pound weights on here because you're not going to be able to lift a ton of weight with this. It's so isolating. So you put the weight down below, and then it acts as that pendulum. And so what the pendulum does, it allows you to, when you're going through that range of motion, the weight distribution follows the path of the contraction. Whereas if you have a straight bar and you get up right about here, it's like it almost gets stuck to a certain point and you have to really kind of cheat and get it up. This allows you, and that pendulum action allows you to kind of keep going through that range of motion in a nice fluid fashion, and it keeps the contraction all the way through the range of motion without having you kind of get stuck in that middle spot. And so, the way it looks is like this, knees slightly bent, then you just curl, and then come back down. And you exhale, and back down. So you can see that the weight, it gets closer to the body as you come up. And comes back down. And come back. So it's a different type of exercise for the bicep. So it's a different type of a curl. So for this one, you don't need a ton of weight. You just need that perfect form because it really isolates the biceps. And there you have it, guys. That is a supinated bicep curl with the Inferno bar. And now I'd like to show you the bent over row using the Inferno bar. So on this, you can use some type of a step. This allows you to get down into it so you don't hit the floor, and you're just going to come right up. And so it's just another great exercise that you can do with the Inferno bar. The nice thing I like about it is that it doesn't take up a lot of space. So you don't have to have an Olympic bar loaded in your basement or your apartment and have to negotiate with a huge bar. You can just use this. Just takes a very small amount of space to perform. You can get any type of platforms you want. You can use cinder blocks. You can make these out of wood or something, and just enough so that they're high enough that you can get a good stretch with your arms, then come back up. And it's very simple. The bar can load, you can put bigger weights on there if your platforms are higher. You can put more weight on there if you want to use the 25, even 35-pound plates. And it can hold up to 200 some odd pounds, and you can crank out your rows that way. And there you have it, guys. That is the bent over row with the Inferno bar. Now I'd like to show you the tricep extension on the flat bench. Now what you want to do, keep your feet off the ground. You don't want to be on the, that's just going to hurt your back. So you want to keep your feet up here. You can hook your heels at the edge of the bench here, or you can stand here. I want you to keep your feet off the ground, knees bent, and then we're going to bring the bar down. As you bring the bar down, I want you to keep your humerus, the upper arm, at 30 degrees. Bring your hands at your forehead, and then you're going to exhale, and you're going to extend 70 degrees. So we're not going up straight up to 90 degrees, and we're not going to keep the elbows at 90 degrees. We're going to keep them at 30 degrees here, and then when you exhale, I want you to get your full extension 70 degrees. Inhale, and then exhale. Inhale, exhale. And I want you to go nice and controlled and slow. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Now you can add a little variation to it. You can come down, go behind your head, and then come back into that position and then go up. Get a little stretch here, come back. Go back, in, go back, come back into that 30-degree position on the humerus, and exhale. Come back, stretch, contract, inhale, and contract. It's a really isolating exercise it's gonna just burn the heck out of the triceps. And you go nice and slow, especially when you're doing the eccentric contraction. You want to come down nice and slow and then hit that concentric contraction. I tell you, after doing 3 or 4 sets of those, you're really going to feel that tricep light up. And guys, that is the flat bench. And guys, that is the tricep overhead extension on the flat bench with the Inferno bar. Okay, now guys, I want to show you the decline tricep extension. Now the difference between this and the flat bench is that this angle kind of sort of intensifies even more on the tricep. So when you're in that decline position, with the way gravity's kind of pulling down on you, you're getting just a little bit more out of it than just on the flat bench. The flat bench is great. I find that this angle is much better, and it really intensifies the tricep more than just doing the flat bench. The flat bench is still a great exercise, and it's awesome, especially if you don't have this type of a setup. If you cannot get into the decline position, you're still going to get great benefit using the flat bench. But I have found that by just changing the angles, that you can get just a little bit more biomechanically out of a decline position on the tricep than on the flat bench. And let me demonstrate. So, get in position here. You just bring the bar overhead. So this position allows you to get that really deep stretch, and you can come in, and then the humerus is already at the 30-degree position, so we don't necessarily have to bring it down like we did on the flat bench. Here, you're just a little bit, you're already in position, then you exhale, and you go straight up. So you technically, you're still at that 70-degree position here. So you come in, then exhale, inhale, exhale. You can go back to the stretch here, come back in, and then right up. And so I've just been messing around with the different angles, and I found that the decline position really amplifies the intensity on the tricep when I do this exercise, because the flat bench is still great. You're going to get a great benefit out of that, especially if that's all you have. But if you can set yourself up into a decline position like this, it allows the bar, first off, that you can get down a little bit further down because you're a little bit higher up, so you won't hit the floor. And then it already sets you up to the right angles so that we're not going straight up and down. We're still at that 30-degree and 70-degree position on the humerus and the arm when we're in full extension. And it really gets a deep contraction. It's hard to explain unless you can actually do it, unless you can try it. But the decline position, just a little bit different than doing it on the flat bench. But both are great exercises. So again, if all you have is a flat bench, then what you're going to do is you're just going to position your elbows at 30 degrees, and then when you contract, you're going to go into that 70-degree position. That's going to allow you to get that peak contraction. On the decline bench, you don't have to move the arm because you're already in the right spot at that angle. And then when you exhale and contract into extension, you're going to hit that 70-degree mark, and it really, it blasts the triceps. Again, you don't need a ton of weight on this because it's so precise and it's just so intense on the contraction that you're maximizing as many of the myofibrils as you possibly can. It's all triceps, so you can't cheat, you can't use other muscle groups at all. So it's just a really isolating exercise. It's one of my favorite tricep exercises to do, and I've noticed a huge difference in using the Inferno bar. It's better than using the straight bar because one, you don't have to worry about bonking your head, and two, you just get a much deeper stretch using this type of a bar. So there you have it, guys. This is the decline tricep extension with the Inferno bar. Now, guys, after you've just blown out your triceps on the extension exercise, now what you do as a burner, kind of a finisher, you would take the bar, just come right over your head, and you get this incredible stretch to the tricep. And so what you're going to do here, keep the elbows in. Don't let them flare out. Don't let your elbows out this way. Keep your elbows in close. Keep the elbows up, and then go ahead and just extend the arms. And man, you get a phenomenal stretch right here. It feels so good. Then you go right up. You can really get a deep stretch here. Really stretch it out. And then the nice thing about it is that it's very easy to get up and over your head with this bar. Like just right here. Then you come back over. So it fits perfectly over your shoulders. It's just another great way of working the tricep. I like to do that at the end of all tricep work, and you can really get that deep stretch. You can crank out a few more reps, and it really just keeps the blood pumping in the triceps. And guys, that is the tricep overhead extension using the Inferno bar. This is a great flushing exercise to do after your forearm work. And this is I call it the hammer curl using the Inferno bar. What you do is you're going to keep your thumbs close to the little bend here on the bar. You hold on to the side of the bar here, and then you want to lean back a little bit. So I'm leaning back, and then you're just going to bring the bar up. So you're going to lean back and then curl, keeping the elbows close to your body. That's the hammer curl on the Inferno bar. Another exercise you can do here is an upright row. So you keep your knees bent, and all you're going to do is just pull this right up. Now when you do the upright row, just like when you do the barbell, you don't come straight up into this position. You want to keep your hands sort of kind of like you're going out in front of you about 10 to 12 inches. So you're going here, and you're raising the bar up, out in front of you. Because we don't want to get impingement of the shoulder. You don't need a lot of weight because when you're using a resistance and you're going further away from your body, it's going to amplify the intensity. So for example, if you're lifting, if you can, like a 10-pound weight close to your body, the further you get it away, it's going to be more intense. So you're actually, could be 40 to 50 pounds more the further away from the body it goes. And so that's kind of how this bar works. So as you're going up, the weight's out here in front of you. So it's just making the intensity greater, and therefore you don't have to use a ton of weight. And it's just a really neat exercise. Again, it's something that you can do with a barbell or dumbbells, but with the Inferno bar, it's a different feel, but it's also small. So if you're at your home or your home gym or your apartment, and you don't have space for a huge Olympic bar, then this is just a great piece to have because it's small, compact, and you can do a lot with it. It doesn't take up a ton of room, and that's one of the ideas of this bar that I want to develop, something that guys can use in their gym, at home, or if they have a small apartment, because if you go to a commercial gym, you can still use it in the commercial gym, but guys are going to probably use, they want to be, their egos are so big, they want to put these huge bars out there and look good, but, I don't really care about all that stuff. So, if it's a small, compact exercise, going to get the job done, then something like this is perfect because it doesn't take up much space. Here's another exercise you can do. This is the racing dive row using the Inferno bar. So you want to exhale. Pull in. So when you head down, you come in, you pull in, lift the head up, contract. So the key points here, guys, when you're coming, you want to get your upper body on your legs, and then come back. You want to pull, lift the head up, extend the arms, but don't fully extend. Keep the elbows slightly bent, and exhale. There you have it, guys. That is the racing dive row with the Inferno bar. Now, guys, I want to show you another exercise that I learned from Vince Girona. This is the concave pull down. And so this really isolates the teres major muscle group. And so Vince would use a straight bar, and you can use a straight bar, but you can also use the Inferno bar to do this exercise. Let me demonstrate. So when you pull the bar down, you're going to pull down and then contract the teres major area. So you're going to pull down, contract, inhale. And you're concentrating on the teres major muscle group. So the key point here is you're going up to that full extension, then you're exhaling as you're coming down, you're lying down, and you're really focusing on the teres major muscle groups back in here. It's like below the posterior deltoid. It's right above the latissimus dorsi. So it's like that triangle area that's right in this this spot right up in the upper back, the upper outside of the back, and that's what kind of creates that illusion of having really big shoulders as well as that V taper. And so it's called the concave pull down. It's a great exercise, and when you use the Inferno bar, it's really cool because the angle of the handles keeps you in the perfect position, so when you're coming down, it really isolates that area. So you can do this exercise on a flat bench or a decline bench. I prefer the decline bench myself, but you can choose whatever bench you want and whatever works best for you. I just find that it's more comfortable for me, but it's still going to be the same benefit whether it's the decline bench or the flat bench. And guys, that is the concave pull down using the Inferno bar. And so there you have it, guys. Those are some exercises that you can do with the Inferno bar. Now, the Inferno bar, you can do all these exercises with other tools in the gym. You can use dumbbells, barbells, and whatever. But the thing with the Inferno bar, it's a different feel than other bars, and it allows you to get into different positions that you wouldn't be able to get into with a straight bar or dumbbells. And so another nice thing about it is that it's small and compact. So if you're looking for a neat tool to have in your home gym or your apartment, this is a great bar to have because you don't have to buy a huge Olympic bar with the big weights and everything like that. And you can use this. It's small and compact. I want to thank you very much for watching. Take care. See you next time.